Welcome, everybody, to today's edition of Home Solutions here on Mix 104.1 and 101.3 The Buzz. Brought to you, as always, by Pro 93 Home Solutions. And Dennis Purvis in studio with you. Hope you're having a wonderful Saturday morning. Got some beautiful weather here peeking out this week and some good temperatures. I love this time of year. No matter how you're listening to us, we appreciate you taking the time this morning to listen to the show, whether you're listening on one of the stations online, maybe you're streaming through the online, or maybe you're on the Mix 104.1 app, or for everybody out there on Facebook world, hope everyone's doing well. Today in studio, listen, this was a hard get, folks. To get a guest of this magnitude took a lot of work. There were people who had to call his people had to get in touch with our people, and by our people I mean me. But I am, oh man, I can't believe I got him. Dr. David Pinkard here with us, my business partner and co-owner of Pro 93 Home Solutions. How you doing today, brother?
I'm doing very well, thank you. It's good to be here today.
And for those Facebook folks out there, I feel really underdressed because he's in his confident salmon shirt, I think is what it is. It looks like he's about to get on a fly fishing trip. It was cold this morning, so I put on a hoodie. Sorry. I underdressed for the occasion. But today, folks, David and I are partners in Pro 93 Home Solutions. And, you know, we're a general contractor that specializes in from jobs small to large, no matter what you're looking for. Maybe you're looking for some basic remodeling, some home repair. Maybe you're looking to add an addition to your home, or maybe you're looking to build a home. We would love to talk to you about your project. Don't forget, we also have our clean team. Wendy and the clean team are ready to come out and give you an estimate for residential and light commercial cleaning. We use all green clean products, no chemicals, so your house doesn't have that chemical smell. It has an all-natural, beautiful smell when we're done. We would love to help you out no matter what it is. Free estimates for everything we do. You can give us a call at 458-4135 or on the web, pro93homesolutions.com. Hit contact us. That'll send a reply right to us at the office, and Cherie or somebody in the office will get a hold of you and get you scheduled for an estimate. Today, what we wanted to talk about, I got David here. And David is usually either out on the road doing estimates, overseeing projects, or holed up in his secret lair, sharpening his pencil and building estimates for our customers. But I wanted to bring him in today because we wanted to talk about it's that time of year where people start to think about different projects. Here it's spring, summers, kids are going to be out of school, things you may want to do in your home. Things I know this with everything in 2020. What we've seen is a lot of folks spent their vacation money, or they've got that extra money that they would have spent on a vacation or a trip, and they're looking to invest it in your home. David, you've been doing this 30 years. Have you seen a time like is right now where so many folks are looking to reinvest in the home they're in?
I think this is actually, there's been a couple times something similar to it, but I think right now is very unique, given the different things we've had going on in the country in the last couple of years. It's in a time that we thought we might be in trouble. We've exploded, and I've had to tell everybody, we're at least 10, 14 days out on estimates because we're doing so many. Yeah. So it's crazy. It's a lot of work right now, but it's the best problem in the world to have. So.
Yes. David's done this a lot longer than I, and there are times where I tell people, I've seen a lot, but I haven't seen nearly what David's seen. So no matter what your project is and how weird you might think it is, I can tell you this, I don't get worried until David gets worried. If David shows up and goes, I don't know what we're going to do, then I'm like, okay, then I can worry about this one. But most of the time, you're not alone. Houses typically do the same sorts of things. We joke around, in the office about Tennessee. There's two kinds of two kinds of people that live in Tennessee, people that have allergies and people that are going to have allergies. And there's two kinds of homes in Tennessee, ones that have termites and ones that are going to. We've done a couple jobs here and recently of where people are starting to find termite damage and having to repair stuff. So I need to get my buddy Eric back from Volunteer Rid of Pests to get him in here. We've had to have some customers call him in this past week. But today what we want to talk about is if you're looking at a project, and I know a lot of you that listen to this show are DIYers, you like to do things yourself, and we try every week to give you some tips on how to do that. So what I wanted to do today is talk about when you call someone, when maybe that job is outside of your scope or you just don't have time right now as you're getting back to work and maybe getting back on a crazier schedule. You just don't have the time or even the energy. You may have the time, but you may be working all week and not have the energy to get the project done, and we would love to help you. And to do that, we want to talk about what kind of sets us apart. Number one, we're a general contractor licensed in Tennessee. We are, obviously insured, bonded, but the best thing I could tell people, David, is we're really a one-stop shop.
Yes.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah. And that's been some of the questions that several of our customers have had is, we're looking for one company that can come in and do everything we need done and not have several different people coming in. And that's us. And I always, I try to say, when people ask me what we do, I say from footer to ridge cap, we can do it all.
And listen, one of the kind of misnomers out there is I'm going to save money if I contract this myself. If I general contract this thing myself, I can negotiate prices. The problem is you don't have the relationships that we are going to have or anybody that's a general contractor, because we've got subs, we've got crews at every level. And here's one thing that I think we need to be real honest about. One of the things you need to look for as a general contractor is how do they communicate? How do they handle communication? And because problems are going to arise. And that's a question you need to talk to your general contractor about. Someone who's coming out to your house and doing an estimate is what happens when there's a problem. And there's lots of different problems and lots of different ways to handle those, but it starts with communication. And I think, David, one of the things that we can assure our customers is when something doesn't go maybe as the scope of work planned, or we pull up some flooring and find some surprises, our crews are pretty good about throwing their hands up, giving us a call, making sure we're not going to spend any of your money without your permission. We'll put it that way. Now, there are certain things, David, and maybe you want to give them a couple examples. There are things code-wise that once we see them and they're exposed, we can't unsee them and pretend they're not there.
No, we can't. And there's, just for example, this was just very recently, there was a customer that just wanted to abandon a live wire in behind the wall. And I said, well, I can't just abandon a live wire behind that wall. I said, that'll get me in trouble.
Yeah.
You have to have access to that. But one thing that I would mention, and this is my personal experience as far as communication, there's something that we are having done from a contractor at our home. And I tried calling him, I tried texting him, and he would not return my calls and would not return my text. He finally showed up for about 30 minutes one day and did a little bit and left, and I still can't get a hold of him. So I thought to myself, I don't want to be that kind of contractor.
Yeah.
If somebody calls, I tell them, we'll either answer then or I'll call you as soon as I get off the phone. And that's been one of our policies that we tried to live by at Pro 93.
And I think if you take a look, at our reviews, both on Google, Facebook, Home Advisor, wherever the review board, even on the Better Business Bureau, we have really kind of prided ourselves of being different. And I understand, folks, there are a lot of guys and gals and a lot of trucks with magnets on the side that say that they're contractors, say that they know what and they may have the knowledge, but are they properly insured if something happens? If they mess something up, are you ever going to see them again? Do they offer a warranty for their work? We do. We give a 1-year workmanship warranty on everything we do. These are the kind of things we try to do because we know going out, there are times we show up in hostile territory on an estimate, and David, you know this.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's because, think about just in the last couple years, how many times we've got a job And I don't know that we were the best estimate, but we were the ones that showed up.
Yes, it's I'd say a very high percentile of the jobs that I go to is we either answered the phone, we showed up, or we actually turned in an estimate.
Yeah.
And, talking about that, we try to be very fair. I think we're average with the community on our prices. But part of, our pricing includes going back to the general contractor and the codes and things. We are accountable. We're not like a, handyman. We are accountable to the state and to the city, and the things that we do are held to account. That's one thing about a general contractor you want. We can't just do whatever we want to. We have to do it in accordance with the codes that are out there.
Yeah, and that's one thing. So, first of all, let's talk about what's the difference between a general contractor and, like you said, a handyman or a tradesperson. Typically, a general contractor is, I guess, if you're going to look at it, is that one-stop shop. They're going to take full responsibility on getting the estimate, getting the contract. They're going to hire the tradespeople, the subcontractors. Those subcontractors then work for the GC. They don't work for you. You don't have to worry about paying them. You don't have to worry about scheduling them. And why? If you've got a project that's going to involve multiple tradespeople, like it's carpentry, it's electrical, it's plumbing, a GC makes a whole lot of sense. Because we said before, there's going to be problems. There's going to be weather, especially if you're doing an addition, you're doing any new construction. Even if you're doing a deck on the back of your house, if it's pouring rain, everything's going to stop. You maybe just be putting siding on your house. Well, guess what? Weather's going to play a part. We have the connections and the different crews to be able to work with that hiccup to where, okay, this put us a day behind here, so the electrician we had coming in behind here may not be able to get here, but we've got another electrician that we can pull right in. So having that is going to give you some peace of mind to where you as the owner, one person is taking responsibility, and we've got the licensing, the insurance to take on that liability and to take on your job. The other thing it is it helps you as the owner because we can work. You talked about the working with the city and the state. We can pull the permits where needed.
Yes.
Whether it's city, county, whatever it is, it's sometimes both, depending on where it is. We can take care of that. And the biggest thing I can tell you right now that you as a DIYer may want to think about, if you're looking at a project that's on that threshold of whether you think you can handle it, material prices may be that thing that tips you into calling somebody.
Yeah.
And I know we joke every day. The memes go around on our social medias of, I just spent $800 on lumber, and you see somebody that's got 3 planks of wood sitting on a cinder block. Lumber is through the roof right now. One of the things that we can provide is that because of our relationships with vendors, we do have times where we can get special pricing, and we have things that are going to be available to us that may not be available to you as a retail customer.
Yeah, that's part of it too. I mean, we do this every day. As an example, if you go to a doctor, and yes, I'm a doctor, but I'm not that kind of doctor. If you go to a brain surgeon, you don't want a general contractor doing your surgery.
No.
And people say, general contracting ain't a big deal. Well, in comparison, we are not brain surgeons, but we are general contractors. It's stuff that we do every day. We're very familiar with our work. We have relationships with different companies, vendors, and everything else that we have built up over a long period of time that we know where to go, how to go, and to get things done. So, it's and people can be their own general contractor. People can be their own DIY specialists and things like that. It's just a matter of experience. I have been doing this a long time. I've seen a lot and I've done a lot. And, I know what to see behind what's in front of you, the issues that's facing. So those are some of the good reasons to call a general contractor that has solutions to some of the problems that you might have.
How many times a week do we hear, well, I just wanted an extra 2 feet on that deck. That can't be that much more money. Well, ma'am, you've got a 20 by 20 deck, so adding 2 feet is going to add 40 square feet. That's more lumber. That's more time. All those things costs money.
You know what's funny is my wife asked me to take her out to dinner the other night, somewhere expensive, so we went to the wood department in Home Depot.
You've been saving that one, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
I like it. Well, listen, when we come back, what I want to do is I'm gonna throw out some things that I think everybody should be asking their contractor, and we're gonna have a little fun here. David's gonna be the contractor. I'm gonna be the customer. We're gonna ask some questions, and he's gonna tell you what you're looking for. And why these things are important when you're choosing your general contractor for one of the biggest investment most of us have in our lives are our home. So Let's find out what you have to ask and who you want to ask it to. You're listening to Home Solutions. Stay right there. We'll be right back on Mix 104.1 and 101.3 The Buzz. Are you tired of going to YouTube or Google for answers to your home improvement questions? Maybe you have more projects than you have time. No matter where you are in the process, Pro 93 Home Solutions is ready to serve you. Pro 93 is a local, veteran-owned company offering residential and commercial remodeling, cleaning, and security. Contact us today at 458-4135 or online at pro93homesolutions.com. Let the pros at Pro 93 find the solution for your home or business. That's 458-4135. Welcome back, everybody, to this Saturday's edition of Home Solutions. Dennis Purvis with you in the Mix 104.1 studio here with Dr. David Pinkard, my business partner and co-owner with me of Pro 93 Home Solutions, your resident general contractor here in the Cleveland, Tennessee area. And we spent some time in the last segment talking about the different things you need to think about when you're looking at a general contractor as opposed to maybe a handyman. And a lot of that is going to depend on the size of your project, obviously. But so you decided, okay, I need to find someone to do this project. I've got an idea of what I want to do. It's time to make a phone call and decide who I want to work with. So what I want to do, first of all, I want to give you some just basics. Number one, check reviews and check references. Do not be afraid. It is not ever going to offend a reputable GC if you ask them for references, if you ask them for previous customers. In fact, ask them about customers that maybe they've done this kind of work before. I know we've got folks that we would gladly give out. A lot of our stuff's online and already kind of out there and open. Yep. You can see a lot of our reviews and see how we've addressed any concerns some people would have. We try to be as open and transparent as everybody, or as anybody can be. But there's also a couple things up front. Ask for references. You can go to verify.tn.gov and search to make sure they have an active license with the state of Tennessee. That is probably first and foremost. Somebody who's saying they're a contractor or a general contractor, folks, in Bradley County, especially Hamilton County, if you to do any sort of home repairs, you need some sort of license, and it's either a home improvement license, which is for projects up to $25,000, or for anything bigger than that, you need a general contractor's license. And we've held both of those, and now the general contractor kind of supersedes the home improvement. The other thing you want to do, check Better Business Bureau, check these kind of online resources. But the biggest thing is the questions that you're going to want to ask. So, David, let's do this. Right. You're the contractor. I'm Mr. Customer. And I'm going to talk about, here's the questions you kind of want to ask. You ready? Number one.
I don't know if I'm ready, but
you're
guess
ready.
And
by the way, I've not planned this out. He's not happy about this because he's like, he doesn't know what I'm going to ask.
I didn't know I was coming to take a test.
Yeah. Question one. How long have you been doing this kind of work?
I figured it up the other day. Now it's right at about 35 years.
You're old.
No.
I'm sorry.
I just started when I was young.
I'm sorry. That was out of care. That was me. That was not the Mr. Customer. That was just Dennis piping in. Okay. So you've been doing it that long. How long has Pro 93 been around?
We've been around about 2 years now.
Mm-hmm. And are you guys from here in Cleveland? Are you guys locally owned?
Yes, we are. Our families are very much settled here. Our kids go to school here.
There you go. Have you had any experience with any sort of solar energy savings, green energy right appliances, windows? Is that something you guys offer?
Very fortunately, my business partner has been very involved in that, and we'd be glad to get you in touch with some of that.
Fantastic. Who's going to supervise my job?
Generally, we have project managers that supervise that job, but me as one of the owners, I always try to be around and visit the jobs. But more than that, you have our phone numbers, and you are more than welcome to call us at any time.
Well, that's a good question, because that was my next question, sir. What happens if there's changes or there's a problem? Because I know there's going to be problems. Who do I communicate with?
Well, we are very fortunate, and we have trained our people very well that if something is outside of the scope of work that is on the contract that we have, they immediately stop. We will prepare you ahead of time for this as well. If something comes up, everybody stops. You will call either me or Dennis or one of us as business partners, and we will talk about it. We'll figure out what's going on. We will discuss a plan of action with you and the cost, and then we will do a change order.
Change order. You said that. That's one of the things I've seen that in my research. You're talking how do change orders work?
Okay, so basically, a contract is a scope of work that you and I agree upon in order to do your work. Anything outside now that the thing about that scope of work is it protects you as a homeowner, it protects me as a contractor about what we are being paid to do and what you are receiving as a service. A change order is when something is outside of that scope of work. We just put it in writing. You sign the change order, and then it's right back into the scope of work. So
change orders are just a way for you to get more money out of me.
Well, no, not necessarily.
Change orders can go down from the original contract?
It is possible at times. If the scope of work diminishes, then yes, the change order will go down. But if the scope of work increases, then the price will go up.
All right.
And yes, that does happen because we try to tell everybody, and I know people are accustomed to contractors, but we're not just trying to get people's money. We are literally trying to help you do your project.
So when you give me an estimate, what do you like to work on? Do you like to just do a competitive bid or cost plus, or time and I hear people say time and materials. What do you guys prefer? How do you guys work?
Really, it just depends. If it's a smaller job, a lot of times we'll try to do that time and material, but we'll try to put a cap on that so that the customer doesn't. Well, you can just charge me whatever. Normally what I do is I have a program that I use that has a good average cost in it. There are times that I use square footage prices. There are times that it does kind of base on by the hour. What I do is I take my experience and just my reasoning skills, and I put all that together with average community prices, and we try to price it accordingly. One big thing that's involved in that is the price of materials.
And I'm assuming those are going up now?
They're probably about 60% higher right now than they've been in quite a while.
Well, let me ask you this. I've got kids, and you're going to be remodeling in here. What kind of efforts does your company make to make sure you're still keeping the job site? I understand a job site's a job site, but, just trying to keep the majority of the dust out or just keeping it safe for me and my kids.
One thing we work very hard at being is professional. And I am encouraged that on many of our jobs, the people have come back to me and said, hey, your people are so professional. They're the most professional people that have ever been here. And that to me is we're getting through to our people saying, we are Pro 93, we are professional. And so what we try to, in being professional, we try to make sure that we do a midday walkthrough and we do an end-of-the-day walkthrough where tools are put up, anything that's dangerous is put up, and we try to communicate very clearly with the family or the customer about what's going on.
Are you going to work with me about making sure I know when the job's going to start, when it's going to finish every day?
We do our very best to do that. We try to communicate as much as possible, even if we have to personally communicate with you. But yeah, that's our goal, is to try to communicate the best we possibly can.
Do you have a standard contract that maybe I can review to look over, or do you just write them all up individually?
We pretty much have a standard contract, and it's based on a standard Tennessee contract. It has all the rules and obligations. It tells everything that protects you. It tells everything that protects us. And so it's a pretty standard contract, but in that contract, it will have the scope of work. So,
and to secure that, obviously, I've signed the contract. Do you guys require draws, deposits? How do you guys usually work when it comes to money?
Well, that depends too. Normally, what we do is we'll take a draw up front. A lot of times, what we do is half up front, which pretty much goes to materials these days. We'll take half up front, and then you don't owe anything else until the job is completed, and then we'll take the final check then. The other part of that is a little bit bigger jobs. We do draws. We will take our percentage up front. Then midway through the job, we'll take a percentage, and then when the job is completed, we'll take a percentage. So it really is in some ways very specific to the job and the size of the job.
And so I'm going to jump out of Mr. Customer and just reiterate this as I'm typically the last one that sees the contract before it goes out. So let me throw a couple things out there to folks. Do not, and this is two guys sitting here, and I know David agrees with this, that our contractors that make a living doing this, that this is our livelihood, do not pay your contractor in full up front.
No.
Folks, I can't tell you how many stories we hear when we show up that started, well, I wrote him a check and I never saw him again. He told me he needed to get materials and he had rent due, so I went ahead and thought, he's a trustworthy guy. I'll give him a check, and he turns into Houdini and disappears.
I think part of us being professional is we try to be professional in our business. We have a company that we run. We have to make money to survive. But one thing I want to say about us being a contractor is there are a lot of horror stories out there.
Yes.
And we pay the price for a lot of that. But at the end of the day, I know Dennis, and I know me and my family and his family. We really are just hardworking people trying to earn a living for our family. Yeah. We're not out here to get anybody. We're not out there to take people's money.
And we take pride in what we're building. We
yes.
take pride. Like David talks a lot in our office and when he and I get together for meetings about leaving a legacy. And it's not just having a financial or a business legacy for our kids one day, but it's more for it's going to be pretty cool to be old and retired one day and to drive around Cleveland and see the things we built still standing. Like that's leaving a legacy. When you see these homes down on Centenary or down off of Coe, where these are homes that were built 150, some maybe even 200 years ago, and they're still standing. People still, and it's some of the most desirable property in our market, folks. That's leaving that's a legacy.
Yeah.
Whoever built that has left a legacy. I want to leave you with this today, and we talk about this, and I know David has a spiel for this too. Folks, if you're getting competitive bids, I encourage everybody, do your due diligence. Research who you're going to work with, get their estimates. But, folks, if you get an estimate that is dramatically less than everybody else's, all right, please don't take that bid. Because one of two reasons is typically why this has happened. They don't have some magic place to get materials that the rest of us don't. Number one, it's either inexperience and they have made a mistake and have drastically underbid this. Number two, they're planning on getting the job and then kill you with change orders.
Yeah.
On the other end of it. And just understand this, that you may say, well, what's it matter if if I can get my project done and they make a mistake, that's on them. Well, that's great until you need warranty work or you need something to repair something somebody's done. They're not, if they do business that way, they're not going to be in business very long to come back and see you. They're not going to be able to address your concerns down the road. So listen, do your due diligence. We would love the opportunity to earn your business. I know, David, and when you talk, I'll let you have the final word here. When you're leaving someone or you've delivered an estimate to somebody, what's one of the things you want to leave with them as they're looking at that estimate?
Well, I want them to review that estimate and know, that this – I think the big thing for people is when they look at that estimate, they go, I can't afford this or this is too much or this, that, and the other. I always try to, tell people, look, we're the type of company that wants to work with you to get your project done.
Yeah.
if you need to do it in phases, we'll work with you.
For budget, we offer financing now
Yeah.
to be able to help folks with that. I know we've done several projects in phases to where it makes sense. It doesn't upset their life. It's something that's still usable. They're not canceling out part of their house because it's under construction. But folks, we really do. It's part of our mission statement is to create a culture of care and compassion, not just with our subcontractors, but also in our community. And it's part of the reasons I think it's I have to believe it's one of the reasons that we found favor here in the last couple of years in growing the way we have. So, David, thank you so much for being here today. Thanks for being my partner, and thanks for being the old guy with all the experience and the salmon shirt. It's really, really sweet.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Now, I've got a lot of compliments on this shirt.
I like it. It's striking. I love it.
Well, thank you very much.
Hey, everybody, listen, we want to thank you guys for joining us once again. Hang in there with us. We'll be back next Saturday morning. You guys stay right there. Real Estate from A to Z is coming, or A to Z and Real Estate's coming in here in just a second. You've been listening to another episode of Home Solutions right here on Mix 104.1 and 101.3 The Buzz.